getting ready to meet with Coach Morgan Harrigan of the women's basketball program. It snowed last night, so instead of going to get the coffee, I'm going to deliver the coffee today. Today's guest went from student athlete to graduate assistant to head coach and senior women administrator in short order. On the court, she was a lockdown defender and a threat from beyond the arc. As a coach and as an administrator, she's a champion for gender equity and campus involvement. Her name is Morgan Harrigan, and she leads the OAC in Harry Potter fandom. This is Coaches on Campus being brought coffee because it's too cold to go outside. This is the 3 Splendas, 2 creams for you there.
Thank you. You get your double-double?
Of course.
Double-double.
That's how they drink it in Canada. So,
Gotta know the SID's order.
So, big season coming up. This is what now? Year number 7. You were here as a student.
Yes.
Then as a GA for a couple of years, and then moved right into the head coach role. That's kind of a pretty quick rise up. Does it feel like it's been 7 years?
No, it feels like it's probably 3. Honestly, my kids have to remind me of how old I am these days. But yeah, it's flown by. It's been awesome. Never any complaints with that for sure.
When it comes to basketball and recruiting is obviously the key to Division III program. When you're out talking with high school coaches, what kinds of players are you looking for?
I think blue-collar players that are willing to buy in, that you can build a relationship with and trust. That's the biggest thing. I think if we can get them to believe and trust in what we're trying to do in that process and commit to each other, then we can teach the basketball skills. Like that to me is the last thing I'm honestly looking for, because I'm getting vouches from, I'm watching their film, I understand and see players I like, and now it's the more intangible pieces when you get to know their coaches, their parents, their backgrounds, if they come from a winning culture, just little details and finding good kids.
We don't have the prima donna type players. We've got the kids who work their tails off to get to where they're at.
Yeah, I like to call them gritty. They have that perseverance and passion to just, they know that they have to give it their everything. Nothing's going to be handed to them at Heidelberg, and I think that's just a testament of their character. They know what they're committing to. They know that they're going to be willing to work when they get here, and I really love that they're involved outside of their sport too, that they're coming and committing to. So our most involved kids are our most productive on the court too.
In addition to being the head women's basketball coach, you were also the senior women administrator. That is a role that I think a lot of times people not in college athletics don't really understand the role of the SWA. Mm-hmm. What is that? What does that mean, and what does it mean to you?
I don't think I knew what the title meant when I got the position to start with either. By going to women's leadership conferences and getting involved in different aspects of campus, it's just making sure women have a voice in the athletic department, but it's also helped me take on more leadership roles across campus, being a member of the Green Dot team and the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee. That's been a lot of fun to be able to get involved outside of athletics and try and make an impact.
You mentioned Green Dot training, and we talked with Scott Donaldson earlier, who was also went through that Green Dot training. What is it? I guess that's the easiest question.
It is. Green Dot is a power-based personal violence prevention program, and it's more to teach the students how to act as a bystander and how to really change the culture of campus, and instead of being very reactive and this is what you do if something happens. This is, let's change the culture so these things don't happen. It was a whole week, 8 to 5 commitment, traveling to Owens with a team of 8 people from Heidelberg, and we're fully trained in Green Dot, and I think it's going to be something very special on our campus.
You are probably the biggest Harry Potter, I want to say nerd, that I know. What house do you think you're in? Would you be in?
I would say I always wanted to be Gryffindor because I love Harry Potter, but I think I'd definitely more Slytherin. Yeah, that's my house.
Does that bother you to be a Slytherin? in the movies and the books, they're kind of the antagonist.
I think especially the movies make the Slytherin house the antagonist, but we're reading the books with my children now, so they're seeing a different perspective. And I think the more I did research on understanding what it really is, as I definitely lean towards that house, not just because Draco Malfoy doesn't give a bad taste in my mouth.
I tend to see myself more as a Hufflepuff.
Okay.
So we're also reading the books with my family too, and it's fun to see. We're actually going through the second time with our son to see the different changes, and he's in 4th grade now, and the things of like, kissing Cho Chang. That's like that's a different feeling. Yeah. So walk me through a game day. So you wake up and it's a game day. You play at 7 o'clock. What do you do? Like what's your day?
Well, I kick the covers off the bed and I'm jumping out. No, I'm excited on game day. We're just reviewing film and scout. We're doing some individual player work throughout the day in between classes that they have if they want to get some shots up or do some review things. But really it's just getting your mind ready and reviewing everything to make sure that you have game situations intact and your lineup set and that depth chart and going over that with assistant coaches and players and everything. So there shouldn't be any surprise when it comes 7 o'clock or 7:15 and we have to make subs. Everyone knows what we're doing.
Gotcha. When you recruit student athletes here, they come from a high school program and sometimes they're the best player at their high school. Sometimes they are a role player at their high school. They come here. There's a step up between what they were used to in high school to what they experience in college. And not everybody's ready to play varsity their first year or their second year or their third year. How important is that time in, whether you call it non-varsity or JV or developmental, how important is that time?
It's very important. It takes a very special freshman to make an impact right away. They're learning new offense, new defense, new teammates, new coaches. The game is longer, the speed is faster, they're learning everything new. So really getting them to buy in that it's a process and that the JV games or developmental games, those are for their benefit. They're not just to have extra games or to waste our budget money by any means. They're to get them ready to be varsity ready. So I think it's a big step in telling about the program that the upperclassmen get them to buy in and see that, because nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So we really preach that trust and develop those relationships with our upperclassmen and to our freshmen and understand that it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but at the same point, we want those freshmen ready to take on the leadership roles to keep our upperclassmen accountable and push them as well.
Absolutely.
So
it's quiet in here now. On a game day, I mean, we've seen over the last 7 years some really big moments in here. I think back to when Teresa Jackson went off for about 90 straight points.
It was our Mount Union tournament game.
And just how loud it gets in here with the students. What is that like as the coach when you're trying to scream at your players something important on the court, but because of our fans making so much noise and being so into the game, they can't hear you?
Well, for one, the environment's amazing. I think Heidelberg has the best student environment of any school in the OAC, and I love that. But I'm probably not the best person to ask because I tune everybody out except for our team when we're in the game. So I feel like they are hearing me, or I have to get Coach Gunnell to say something for me that's a little louder. But when I go back and watch film, that's when I see how big our crowd is, or that's when I notice we had cheerleaders that day, or that's when I notice the little things, and I'm like, wow. It was awesome environment in there, and I didn't realize that because I was just so in tune with what was going on the court. Yeah. So I'm going to try and be a little bit better with that. But, yeah, you can't create a better environment than at Heidelberg.
Last year, we watched Alyssa Riley break your school record for three-pointers in a game. And I think you said there's nothing better as a coach than watching one of your players break your record. Is there a part of you that's a little mad?
No, not at all. I think I was probably celebrating the most, to be honest. And our team had a running joke. They said, Coach, you'll never let anyone break your record. And I said, bull crap. I'm going to call the timeout and set up the play for them to break that record. So fortunately for Alyssa, she could create that on her own, and she just had to step back and make someone fall. So, yeah, she had a great game.
Are there other moments that stand out in here for you that you think, like, that's what I love about Heidelberg?
Honestly, the picture that's on the other side of these walls with Maddie Crawford and Leah Boyan, hugging in tears after we beat Ohio Northern in overtime. That was the first time since 2009 that we had beaten Northern, and it was just a culmination of their commitment and their process together. And it was just seeing that emotion and seeing that come out in them. It shows that what we're doing is the right thing.
Good luck to see you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.